The Peeling of an Onion. Short Stories. Her name is Yellow. April 2022, New York City. The sliding door opens with a forceful gust as the wind catches beneath the back of my hair. In front of me, stoically, stands the eternally happy doorman. He's donning a thick argyle pea coat, brown scarf, and brown leather gloves, which he fidgets with as I enter. "Welcome home, miss," he says as part of the standard niceties. "Thank you," I reply, staring at the marble floors as I walk towards the elevator door. My mind stops for a brief moment. "Oh, wait," I say as I look back. "Sir, I almost forgot. I have a guest arriving at 7 p.m. this evening. Feel free to let her up." "Yes, miss. Her name?" he inquires. This seems like an obvious question, but I hesitate, and he notices immediately. His eyes grow more and more inquisitive with the extended silence. "Her name is Yellow," I state emphatically. "Yellow, like the color?" he replies. "Yes," I say loudly, indignant that he questions me with such curiosity. "You got it, boss," he replies with that New York type of accent. I sense that the eternally happy doorman had caught the inquisitive edge in his tone and was trying to course correct. The elevator bell rings, signaling its imminent arrival. The door opens with the same forceful gust as the sliding door had moments earlier. My keys jingle as I pull them from my bag. I fumble for the right key as I near my apartment door. The warm air from the apartment slaps my face as the door opens inward. I toss my bag down on the floor, take off my coat, draping it messily over the kitchen chair. My apartment smells like a vanilla candle. It's a soft scent, but still crass, reminding me of those yellow tree air fresheners you find in old cabs. I jostle myself into the kitchen, creasing my nose up as I catch the warm, vanilla-scented air. I reach for the wine, with the anticipation of forgetting about that crude smell. The acidity of the red wine clashes with the warm scent. I wait anxiously on the cream-colored sofa in the semi-darkness. I do not dare light that candle. As the alcohol hits my bloodstream, the muscles in my legs begin to relax. 1 hour until Yellow arrives. The minutes seem to linger and hang above my head like a thick, wet blanket. I bide the time with another glass of wine. This is the first time I'm going to meet Yellow in person. However, it was not our first interaction. We'd exchanged several text messages prior to this date. Initially, Yellow responded to my email with skepticism. Understandable, given that I was one of the few women in my mid-40s seeking this kind of interaction. But over time, and a few exchanges, it became more familiar, and a bit of me thinks she began to trust my intentions. I stare at my phone, my fingers searching for her email that she sent a week ago. I reread the instructions intently. Hourly rate, $500. Minimum of 1 hour. Discretion is key. All payments must be made in cash. Please remember good hygiene. I'm not going to have sex with you, regardless of what you say. When you greet me at the door, you are to be entirely undressed, wearing only a bathrobe. I find myself reciting the instructions out loud. I exit my email and look down at the time. It's 6:58 p.m. My heart begins to race. I pour myself another glass of wine, hoping to take the edge off. No such luck. Suddenly I hear a knock at the door. I freeze in sheer paralysis, rethinking my decision. Another knock. I reach for the door handle, and the weight of the alcohol seems to hit me all at once. I pull harder than I need to, throwing open the heavy metal door in disarray. Our eyes meet. "Hello," Yellow says. "Hi. Thanks for coming," I reply, imitating the standard niceties of my eternally happy doorman. I look down at my bathrobe. It seems to hang on me like a weighted shroud. I stare down at my breasts that peek out from the view above. I feel utterly embarrassed and self-conscious. "Your envelope is on the table," I say as I gesture to her to come even further into the apartment. "Great," she said, "but before that, take off your robe and get down on your knees." I Again, the paralysis hits. My muscles feel weak, even weaker now that the alcohol has done its job. Well, what are you waiting for? Did you hear what I said? Her stern tone startles me, but the shock turns my paralysis into movement. My training clicks into focus. My legs bend. I lower myself to the floor, arms quivering. Go ahead. Worship your mistress's feet. She points to her heels and waits, visibly impatient. There you go. Good girl. Just like a dog on all fours. She seems to snicker as she waits about a minute or two, observing me like a predator lying in wait. Okay, now get up. You did your job, but it could have been better. I marvel at the bluntness of her assessment. Where's the bathroom? She asks. I point to the far corner and watch as she glides across the room, her long black leather jacket cinched tightly at the waist. I listen for the toilet flush, then the running water. Minutes later, the door flies open and Yellow appears, wearing a black latex suit and harness, carrying a black medical-looking bag. Who is this beautiful woman, I thought. Sweat prickles my skin. My heart races into eternity. My hands tingle, clammy, self-judgment raids my mind. I attempt to push it down. Yellow then begins to approach me, slowly. She digs her hands into her implements bag, pulling out a long stretch of blonde-colored braided rope. As she gets closer, her right hand releases the rope and her hand raises, followed by her hand at my shoulder. Yellow shoves me down on the bed with a forceful gust, the vibration from her hard strike reverberating through my body. The back of my head sinks into the white pillow, which immediately deflates like a popped balloon. I start to squirm. No more squirming, she says, pulling her hands along the rope. She speaks with practiced precision, almost hypnotic by design, as she begins tying me to the bed. The rope around my arms and legs don't seem as gritty as I would have imagined. The long strand resembles pieces of burlap sack, but feels soft, like a chunky braided rug. I test its grip. I can't move more than half an inch. As Yellow ties, she inspects the ropes, ensuring that they're neither too tight to cut off circulation, nor too loose to allow escape. Satisfied, she looks up at me. I am completely disarmed. I feel the rope's pressure on every limb. Yellow steps onto the bed in one single motion. She lowers herself down on top of me, her long hair cascading over her shoulders, brushing against my chest. It sways back and forth as she speaks, her sternness edged with softness. Perfect. Now I've got you exactly where you're supposed to be. I half smile with a hint of terror. The night unfolds with a hazy recollection. Promptly 2 hours after we begin, Yellow leaves me lying on that soft pillow as she seems to disappear into the distance, into the yellow-scented candle. I fell asleep immediately that night, floating on a bed wrought with emotion. Later that morning when I awoke, I thought perhaps I had a very vivid dream. However, the rope marks on my legs and arms suggested otherwise. With my eyes closed, I ran my fingers over the marks, still slightly indented from the evening before. I started to take inventory of my body, trying to see if I was all intact, legs, arms, head, eyes, nose, etc., my hands running up and down my naked body. Everything was in its proper place. I let out a sigh of relief knowing that I was properly put together. My mind, however, remained in pieces. Yellow had opened a little red door in my mind, somewhere I didn't know existed. I struggled to make sense of it all, but resorted to another sigh instead. From this day forward, the scattered pieces of my mind would start to collide, pushing and pulling my mental state in different directions. There was a sense of frenzy, judgment, followed by a brief respite. This feeling would continue, despite my better efforts.